Okay, we're rolling live. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This week, oh my gosh, we're talking about some of the most important things that has completely changed my career, and that is music contracts for artists, soloists, performers, us folks. So here, I wanted to do a video where I completely dedicate the entire episode to talk about how having a contract in place is essential for musicians. And there are 4 specific things that I want to talk about in this video. That way you take away 4 solid points and maybe you can start implementing this into your business so you can enrich your music career. I've been doing this for about 3 years, and that's how I was able to build my solo performance career and the income from it. I started out making like literally $200 at most, and obviously not enough to pay bills or make a living. I have a family and children, so that was never going to cut it. Thankfully, I started to incorporate a lot of these ideas, started working with a contract in place for my own protection and safety, and it's made all the difference in the world. So I can't wait to share these 4 points with you. Let's get started. Obviously, having a music contract is great, and there's so many benefits to it. Not fortunate that musicians are more likely to sign a contract that they are forced upon, and then to push their own artist contract and performance agreements as a solo brand to really position ourselves better. That way we can get better gigs, protection, and start to build wealth. I mean, we're not doing this to be poor. Number 1, protection of rights. Okay, if you are an artist or you are a streaming artist or you have an album, this is important for you. The contract can outline the terms and ownership, use of music, lyrics, as well as the rights and all of the responsibilities of both the musician and the client.
Not very good with people.
This helps to protect the musician's intellectual property and ensures that they are compensated properly for their work. There are so many different types of protection a music contract can serve for us musicians. Just kind of collecting your royalties. So for instance, if you made something, whether it's a piece of merch, music that people stream on a platform, are you monetizing these things correctly? You may not have to go through these when you are signing up for social platforms, but if you're starting to work with brands, maybe directly with these social platforms, definitely want to consider having your own clause in your contract where it talks about specifically the protection of your rights to your own intellectual property, whether it's performance, merch, live shows, and even techniques that you share, whatever it may be. That's number 1 reason why it's so essential, is to protect not only ourselves but our craft. Our intellectual property. The second one, oh my gosh, I love talking about that second one because it is so important, you guys. The second one is payment terms, okay? Why it is so essential to have a contract that can specify your payment terms, including the amount and the timing of the project, some sort of a long-term gig. Then you want to talk about retainers, deposits, and the cadence of the payments. For instance, I play at a restaurant locally with a celebrity chef here in Dallas, and we signed a gig for a whole year, but they also pay me every month at the beginning of the month. So I'm not performing a whole bunch and then waiting months to collect my check. No way, Jose. Can help avoid any disputes, ensure that the musician is going to have steady income, which is important. We talked about this in the last week's video. Number 1 reason for why musicians struggle to build wealth was that we have unstable income. Contract can fix the majority of this, which is why I love it so much. Essential reasons why it is crucial for you to have a contract in place if you're a musician. Number 3, so we can discuss scope of work. We come across all types of clients and prospects, and that's the most beautiful part of this job. You get to meet everyone from every walk of life, and it is incredibly special and fulfilling. However, being said that, not everyone understands your exact scope of work, and let's be honest, there's so many different musicians out there, and we kind of all sort of do different things. But why I put in so much focus on branding and music business is for this reason. My scope of work is something that defines what I do exactly. It's duration of my performance, or what type of songs I'll be playing, where I will be taking my breaks, and just everything. That way the client has the right expectations, because even though I've done a ton of different gigs for weddings, every bride is so different and every type of wedding is so different, and for that reason the client's expectations can vastly vary. And deliverables, maybe you need to give the client a sample. Maybe the client is expecting a revision from something, whatever it may be that you may have offered, whether it was part of your services, whatever it may be, it needs to all be in a written form. We want to make sure that we are checking in on them and they know exactly what to expect from us, so that when their special event or the day or project is over, that they are happy and just utterly amazed by your products and services, because you said exactly what you're going to say and you delivered it, and you're most likely to get best referrals of actual clients that way. If you do a good job, just doing that one event, one gig can open up so many different doors, and we'll talk more about this in this video. So the last thing, you guys, this is already the last point as we are wrapping up the very central reasons why having a contract as a musician in place is so beneficial for us. And one is legal protection. I know we talked about protection of rights at the beginning of this video, where we talk about our intellectual properties and our performances, things that we should collect royalties from. But this legal protection, the last point that I want to make, is way more important and crucial than that. This type of language in your contract can provide legal protection in case there is an event of dispute. God forbid this happens, but we all want to make sure that we're protected and we're covered, where we're able to resolve conflict. So this is very important. If not, you're just kind of gonna get hosed. You can't even come to a fight or a dispute. You won't have a case. So contract is so important in case things don't go as we expected, and unfortunately these things happen. So that's why we have to use contracts. Hello. For instance, if one party breaches the contract, the other party may be able to take legal action and be able to reinforce the terms that were discussed in the agreement and in the contract. And it also goes back to my second point, payment terms. Right? So again, for my practice, when a prospective client comes and is inquiring of my services, and they tell me the dates and the location and the duration, and as soon as they pay the deposit, which for my case is a 50%, that's when they have the booking. And then we talk about more scope of work, what the expectations are. But I don't really like to have all these conversations up front, because this is my process and this is the best way that I found how to help my clients through the onboarding process. In case things go wrong, you have the contract in place, not only for the rainy days, but think about it. If you have a contract in place, you are first likely to come to your other party and say, hey, remember the terms, conditions of the contract that we discussed, we negotiated, that we signed at the bottom. This is what it says, XYZ, how can we resolve this? So this is what actually empowers us and gives us tool to negotiate if there are things that happen completely outside of our control. Versus if you didn't have any of the terms and conditions negotiated in your own artist agreement when you went into this collaboration or business deals, then you really can't say much other than, man, bro, you should pay me, but boo-hoo. We're not children here, so let's protect ourselves, because that is the best way for us to grow and to help others and to really help all of us by growing this industry. There's so much to be shared here, and that this pie is huge, so come take a slice. Stay tuned for next week's video. So I'm Music Career Bestie, and I help other musicians treat their music career as a business, music business strategist, and I love helping and encouraging other musicians to operate as a business. That way we can create the most rich, fulfilling music career and continue to love what we do, but also become wealthy by doing exactly what we love doing. And I think that is the best type of fulfillment out there. So stay tuned and check out my other platforms. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Stay tuned for information on how to start branding yourself. That's what's coming up. I have a workshop coming up in fall, so we're getting prepared for that. Thank you for watching.